My name is Tui Shortland, and I'm from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm the manager of our tribal environmental organisation. Our tribe is called Ngāti Hini, and our organisation is called Ngāti Lairako Ngāti Hini. So, just quickly, for those of you that don't know where Ngāti Hini resides, we're in the far north of the North Island of New Zealand. And so they're in the red shaded area is our Ngāti Hini heartlands. We're around 70,000 hectares in catchment. We're majority landowners within our catchment. We still hold the majority of our ancestral lands. Ngāti Hini are known to be around 50,000 strong people. But within our territories, we probably have more around 3,000 people. So not many people have two urban settlements in their little towns. And most of our territories, we have metal roads, no running water. We look after our own sewage, and we generate our own energy through solar and other means. And we have 13 marae, or meeting houses, within our catchment that our sub-tribes revolve around. So I'm just going to talk a little bit today about how we designed our catchment management plan. We based it on traditional knowledge and customary use. Several years ago we had instructions from the elders that we were to begin to write about our policies and our planning and the way that we manage. So we based our plan around some of our ancient principles, some of which are shared throughout Aotearoa with other tribes. One is kaitiakitanga. It's an often used term these days for guardianship, but for Ngāti Hini it means an everyday relationship that we have with our environment. And it's a circle relationship that we have. And the other principle that we based our foundations on was a principle around whāngaia te mauri o te taiao. And that's to nurture the life essence of the environment. So for Māori we believe that everything has a mauri, has like a life essence, everything in the environment, and you can deplete that essence and you can decrease that essence. And so we work in our work to increase the life essence. So when we first sat down to plan, we thought, well, how can we organise ourselves and what are the significant places to us? So we went back to our creation stories and our gods and our goddesses, and we have created realms or identified realms, environmental realms within our territories that we're managing around. So the realm of Papatuanuku, or Earth Mother, that is our realm around our underground wetlands, around looking after our soils and our minerals. Another realm is the realm of Rokomatane, or the god of peace, and he is also the god of cultivated foods. So again, our fertile soils, where we grow our taro, our sweet potato, our greens and other food. That's another realm or type of ecosystem in the way that we look at the world. And Tāne Mahuta, forests and wetlands, Tangaroa of the ocean, Tūmataonga, the coastal tidal zone between the ocean and land, and the sixth realm that we chose was Haumea Tiki Tiki, who's the god of cultivated foods in the forest mostly. So within each of these realms, once we had confirmed those realms, we thought about, well, how do we identify the health of those areas? And part of the reason why we had to create this plan is because we have issues around alien invasive species, around exotic forestry, pollutants from intensive farming. And so we thought about what were the cultural indicators within our realms that could tell us about the health. So perhaps some species that were significant to us that are quite vulnerable, or some species which, as Ngāti Hine in our identity, if they no longer existed within our territories, then it would impact majorly on who we are as a people, and we would potentially need to change our worldview because we could no longer have a relationship with them. So some of the cultural indicators, the latest term for it, on Papatūānuku is Purutuna. So in Ngāti Hine we have a lot of limestone underground caverns, and that's where our little eels live, and they live in the area in the dry periods. And we're eel people, we're lowland, forest and wetland people, and we rely heavily as livelihoods on eating eels. So the underground wetlands, which is one of their ideal environments for us, is a major cultural indicator. And when it comes to underground wetlands, there's not a lot known around the country about them, and we think that our elders are probably leading in knowledge around that. And others, and I've just put a list there, I won't go through it all today. I'm speaking tomorrow as well at the CBMIS, so I can get back into more detail, but yeah, there's a list there. Just one other is on Tangaroa there, we also have standards around what type of rivers, whether they're healing waters or wai ora, whether they're natural or drinkable water. We call that wai Māori. Wai kino is bad waters, wai mate life-threatening, and we also have wai puke, which is water in flood, which is significant for us because we have a lot of migratory species. So from there, after we identified our cultural indicators, we thought, well, how are we going to plan around it? How are we going to plan the 70,000 hectare catchments? So we split it up into sub-catchments. We sat around, we had meetings amongst the communities. This whole thing has been designed with the communities, but to split up the catchments into smaller areas, we had to think about genealogical links of the people within the area. We had to think about the type of rounds or ecosystems within the area, as well as the external impacts such as pests and pollutants that were happening. So we came up with 11, at the moment we've got 11 sub-catchments, and it's just an example of, on the left is the names of the catchments, the area, and what our focus, what each of the communities felt was there was a need to focus on those issues. So from there we looked at what are our traditional management techniques in regards to environmental management. Riparian planting, for us, we know that in our great-grandparents' time, they were riparian planting their springs when they got land back that had been cleared. The first thing they did was they would plant and they would restore wetlands. So we consider that to be a traditional management technique, as well as placing prohibitions on species and areas where they need to have a time to rest. We also utilise our traditional moon calendar. So, for example, when our monitors go out once a month, in our ecosystems and our environment changes every month. Flowers, trees flower, plants bury, birds migrate, fish migrate. There's always something different happening within our environment every month, and so at least once a month our monitors, our community, local people go out and record what is happening and compare it to our traditional calendar. Ki te tangariki, we have in our ancient stories around 600 years ago, we have stories handed down around how children had gone out and assisted migratory eels or little elvers when they first come up into our streams to get up waterfalls. And so we have a saying around that called ki te tangariki, and so we consider that to be another traditional management technique, as well as reseeding our forests, our rivers and our coasts. We don't look at them as something that we conserve, that we're separate from. We look at them as the embodiment of our circle relationship that we have with them. So our monthly programs, again, these are some of our kaichiaki. We've got adults, male, females, young kids, babies are often taken out on these excursions, and they're going out and they're having a good look at what's going on in the area. We've designed forms around what the climate is, what the land use is in the area, what the flow of water, everything that the community felt the need to record, we've designed into forms. So for example, if they go into the forest, you know that the forest is healthy when you go into the forest and you can hear the birds. You can hear the birds flying, or you can hear the birds singing. And then you look up and you can see the canopy above you, and you look down and you can see the small plants growing beneath you. And so you know, those types of way, in a sensory way, how healthy your forest is, as opposed to going in at night and not hearing kiwi, but hearing possums instead. So we've just kept it simple, like that. There's no intensive training needed. People want to be monitors, they just come along to our monthly meetings that we have at our meeting houses, where our reporters come back and report to our elders. So, as I said, we have a form, a consistent form for each of our monitors, and we use geographic information systems. We use GIS Cloud. Our key monitors have got Panasonic tough pads, is what they're using, and they use mobile data collection when they're out in the environment, so they can fill out the forms, take an audio, take a picture, push send, and it goes automatically up to our maps. And then we also link with our schools, and so our schools can get online and they can access the maps, and they can go out with their iPads. Anyone can go out with a smartphone and record the information and add to the traditional knowledge database that we're developing. And it's moderated on all of our work is peer reviewed and validated at our monthly Ngāti Hine meetings that we hold with our elders at our meeting houses, and then we communicate the results to Ngāti Hine via our Facebook page, Ngāti Rairako Ngāti Hine, and as well as on our radio station, and we often get the Te Kaia Māori news will come and check out what we're doing if there's a few of us. So the last one is our youth leadership strategy. Ever since I can remember, we've always had a strong youth succession principle amongst the elders, but a few years ago they asked us to set ourselves up as like a youth council. So elders from each of the meeting houses and communities nominated young potential leaders, and we take them up into the bush, up into the mountain, the hill, probably to some of you here, for retreats. We take them hunting. They spend the night in the bush, and we teach them what to eat, what to look for healthy environment. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share today and promote our work, and I'm looking forward to collaborating more with others here this week. Kia ora.